Hello everyone, welcome back. So in the previous video, we worked on likes, shares and pagination, and in this video, we're gonna work on our post details model. So now I want to fetch the post details. So let's create a state post and a set post. By default, this will be null, and we're gonna call a function to fetch the post details inside our use effect hook. Let's add an empty dependency array. Here we need to call a function get post details. And let's create this function here. This will be an async function. And for now, let's just add a comment here, get post details here. So now we need to create an API to fetch the post details from Supabase. So let's go into our post service. And here, let's just copy this function and change the name to fetch post details. And we'll receive a parameter as post ID. Then we don't need this order function, so let's just remove this, and here we will add a function eq because we're gonna get the post based on this id. So if id equals this post id, then we'll fetch the data. And we don't need this limit as well, so let's just remove it, and we're gonna use a single function because we want to get the single object. Then let's change the post details error, and this message will say could not fetch the post, like this. So everything looks all right here. Now let's use this inside our post details model, and this will give us a response, and we need to pass the post ID like this, and we'll just console log the result, got post details. So let's save this and see if this is working. So let's see in the console, if I open the post details, here we can see got post details. We have the data and success as true. So let's just remove this, and here we'll make a condition. If result.success is true, then we'll set the post as result.data like this. And now I'm just gonna copy and paste the styles for this whole component, so I don't have to write them again. And I'll just show you these styles whenever I use them. So let's import WP, HP, and the theme object like this. And let's just give this container a style of container. And inside this, let's just remove this, and here we need to add a scroll view. And let's just hide the vertical scroll indicator. Let's make it false. And for the content container style, let's use the style of list. And so for the list style, we have the following style. We only have a padding horizontal. Then inside this, let's add our post card component for the post details. And here first we need to add the item property, which will be the post. And then we're gonna add the current user. So this will be user, and we need to get the user from our use auth hook like this. Then we also need to define the router because we need the router inside the post card component. So let's add the router here. Then we can also pass a property has shadow, and I want to make it false because I don't want a shadow for this component here. So let's close it and save this. So we get this error, and this is because initially the post state was null, and we are using this inside this component. So we need to make a condition here. Actually, let's just create a new state and call it start loading and set start loading. So initially this will be true, and we'll make it false when we get the post details from Supabase. So right here, we'll just set this to false. And we're gonna use this inside this condition. So whenever this is true, we're gonna return a loading state. So let's return a view and give this a style of center. And for this item, I'm using the following styles, so you can just copy them. Now let's import our loading component in here, and let's save this. So now if I open the model, we should see a loading state. and then we can see the post details. So this is very useful because we're using the same component on the home screen and for the post details model. So we don't have to create extra UI for the post details. But we do want to make some changes inside this component, because right now if I click on this comment icon again, this will again open the post details model, and I don't want this to happen. So we need to make a condition whenever we use this component inside the post details model, then we will disable these options and also hide the three dots icon. So for that we will need to pass a new property to postcard, and let's call it show more icon, and we'll make it false for this component. So let's use this inside the postcard. Let's receive it here, and by default this will be true. So on the home screen we will still see these icons and actions. So let's go to the three dots icon, and we'll make a condition: if show more icon is true, only then we will just render this icon like this, and let's save this. Now we can still see this icon in here, but if we open the post details, we don't see this icon in the post details component. Now let's fix this comment icon. So when we click on this, we need to use the same property in here, and we need to make a check if show more icon is false, then we will just return null like this. So let's save this and see if this is working. So now if we click on this, it opens the post details, and if we click on the comment icon here, nothing should happen. So this is working. So now I want to work on the create comment UI. So let's go into the post details, and here let's add a comment input, and here we need to create a container. So let's create a view and give this a style of input container, and inside this we need to import our input component, and let's give it a placeholder as type comment. And for the color of this placeholder, let's use the property placeholder text color, and we will use the text light color from our theme like this. Now we want to add the container style, and we will use flex 1 and the height of HP 6.2 and a border radius of XL from our theme like this. So let's close it, and let's save this. So there we can see in the comment box. Now for the input container, we have the following styles, so you can just copy them. Now I also want to add a reference for this input. So let's create a reference. Let's just remove this and create an input reference and use the hook useRef and null. So we want to use this because later I want to clear the input when the comment is created. So we can just pass it like this, and we're using this input reference property here as a reference for this text input. And we also need to create one more reference for holding the value of this text. So let's create a comment reference, and by default this will be empty string. And let's add a function on this on change text, and whenever a value gets updated in the input, this will update the comment reference dot current value like this. So let's save this, and now if I type anything here, it should update the reference value, and we can use that to create a comment. Now we're gonna add a button here, so let's use touchable opacity, and let's give this a style of send icon. Let's close this, and we're gonna use the send icon here. So name will be send, and for the color we're gonna use primary dark color from our theme. Let's close it and let's save this. So there we can see the button. Now when we click on this button, it should trigger a function on new comment. So let's add this function here, and let's make it capital. So let's define this function here and make it async. So when we create the comment, we first need to start the loading. So let's create a loading state, set loading, and by default, this will be false. Now let's use this where we use the icon. So when the loading is true, we will show a loading state. Otherwise, we'll just show this icon. So let's copy it and move it here. And for the loading, let's create a view and give this a style of loading. And inside this, we can use our loading component with a size of small like this. Let's close it and save this. So we can't see this loading, but if we make this loading state true like this, then we can see this is how the loading state will show. So let's make it false again. Okay, so now I want to create the data for this new comment, but first let's add a condition here. We need to check if we don't have the current value inside the comment reference, then we can return null. But if we do have a value, then we will create a data object, and inside this we will specify the user ID from the user object and the post ID from the post object. And for the comment, we need to specify the text property as the comment reference dot current value. So this will be the data for the new comment, and now we need to work on saving this comment into the Supabase. So for that, we will need to go into the post service, and here let's just copy this function and create post like and paste this here. Change the name to create comment, and this will receive the comment data. Now let's just change this error to comment error, and the message will say could not create your comment like this. So this will save data into the comments table, and we need to insert the comment data like this, and we can leave everything else as it is. So let's go into our post details component, and here first we need to start the loading. Then let's use this function, and this will give us a response, and we need to pass the data, and after this we can set the loading to false. Then here we need to check if the result.success is true. That means the comment is created, but if it's not, then we need to show an alert to user. So title will be comment, and for the message we use result.message property like this. So here we need to clear the references. So input reference dot current, and we can use the clear function that will clear this input, but this will not clear the comment value. So for that we need to pass an empty string for the comment reference, and later we will send a notification to the post owner whenever a comment is created. So let's just add a comment for now. um, Optional chaining assign isn't currently enabled. So we can't use this question mark here when assigning a value. Okay, so that will fix the issue. So let's just refresh the app and see if we can create a new comment. Let's open the post details, and here let's just test it and add a new comment as cute, and let's send it. So now let's see in the console. Actually, we did not console logged any response, so we need to go into the Supabase and then open the comments table. So there we can see our new comment as cute, and this includes the post ID and the user ID. So this is great. Now next we're gonna work on a list of all the comments, and we're gonna show it at the bottom here. But before that, let me just create another comment, and we will work on showing the comments count in the post card component. So let's add this comment and hit send. So the comment is hopefully created. Now let's add the comments count in the post card. And for that, we will need to change the API for fetching the posts. So let's go into the post service. And we can do that because we have a relationship with the post and the comments. So we can include all the comments within a post. So here is the API, and here we need to add the reference table as comments. Then we can pass a property as count, which is not added in the comments table, but when we use this will count all the comments for this specific post. And we can check this inside the post card component. So here let's just console log the post item. Actually, let's just console log the comments property directly because we just need to see that. Let's save this and we can see it's undefined, but let's just refresh the app. So now we can see it has an array with an object, and this includes a property count, which is the number of comments on the post. So now we can use this. So let's just remove this and let's go to the comment section. And here, so here we need to use item dot comments, and we need to go to the first object because this is an array and we need to show the count property. So let's save this. So there we can see the count, and we made two comments earlier, so this is correct. Now if I open the post details, we will hopefully get an error like this. So this is because the post details API does not include the comments table. We do have a relationship with the comments and the post, but we just haven't added the comments table yet. And because we're using the post card component and this expects the comments array, so this is why we're getting this error. So now let's add the comments table inside this API. And for this one I want to fetch all the comments, so I will use static. Then I also want to fetch the user who created this comment, so I can use the users table and specify the properties that I want to use. So we can do this because we have two relationships inside the comments table. So if I edit the comment table, we can see two relationships with the post and the user. So we can do this, and this will get us the user inside the users property, but we can change this to user like this because we will only have one user for each comment. So now we need to fetch all the comments in a descending order, and for that we can use a function order where I can specify the column as created at and some options where ascending will be false, and we have a property as foreign table which will be the included table as comments. Now this will order all the comments as descending, and we will get all the latest comments on the top. So let's just save this and open the post details. So now we're not getting this error, but we also don't see the comments count, and that's because now we're getting the comments array, not the count property. So if I go into the post details here, let's just console log the post object like this, and let's save this. So let's go to the bottom, and here we can see it has the body ID. There we see the post likes, and there we can see the comments array, and this includes all the comments, not the count property. So we need to override this because we are using this inside the post card component. So let's spread the post data here. Then for the comments property, let's use array and then an object with the count property, and we need to pass the length of all the comments on this post object like this, and let's save this. So now we can see the count as true, which is correct. We made two comments earlier. Also, let's just add these question marks, so if we don't get these values, this won't throw an error. So for this post we have 0 comments, and if I open the post details, this shows correctly. So everything's working great. Now, for some reason, if we're not able to fetch the post details or the post is deleted, then I want to show a message here. So let's add a condition here. If we don't have a post, in that case, we will just return a view. And let's give it a style of center. And I want to show it on the top. So For that, let's just add the style of justify content as a flex start. And then I want to have a space on the top. So let's add a margin top of 100 pixels. Then inside this, let's use a text component and give this a style of not found. And this will just say post not found. So let's save this. And if we don't have a post now, it will show this message. So let's just fetch a post with a random ID and let's save this. So now if I open the post details model, this will say post not found because we don't have a post with the ID 234. So this is correct. And now let's change this back to post ID. And now if I open the post details, this will show the post details like this. So now let's just minimize this and work on our comment list. So here, let's just add a comment list. Then let's add a view and give this a style of margin vertical of 15 pixel. And then I also want to have a gap of 17 pixels between the items. And here we need to map through all the comments on this post. So let's use the map function. And for each comment, I want to return a comment item component, which we haven't created yet. So we'll create this in a second, and we need to pass the item as the comment. So let's close this. And now we need to create this component inside this folder. Then let's create a functional component. Let's save this. And now let's just import this here. And let's save this. So there we can see two comments items, and we need to add the key property on this component. And this will be the ID. So let's convert it to the string like this. So now if we don't have any comments, I want to show a message. So let's make a condition here. If comments.length equals 0, that means we don't have any comments. And in that case, I want to add a text component here. And let's give it a style. I want to use the color of text from our theme. And then let's have a margin left of 5 pixels. And in here, I want to say a message be first to comment on this post like this. Now let's go into the comment item, and here we need to receive the item as the comment. And now let's give this container a style of container. And for the styles, let me just copy and paste the style sheet for this component. And I'll show you the styles whenever I use them. So here is the style sheet. And now let's just import the theme object. And we also need to import this HP function as well. So now let's give this a style of container, and you can see the styles for the container in the style sheet. Now let's import the avatar component and give this a URI of the user image. So user can be found in the item because we included the user in each comment item. So let's close this and let's save this. So there we can see the default image for the user. Now after this, I want to add another view, and let's give this a style of content. And inside this, let's add another view, and let's give it a flex direction of row, justify content as space between, and align items center. So the idea is I want to show the user name and the creation date on one side, and on the other side I want to show a delete icon. So that's why we're using flex direction as row. Now let's create another view and give this a style of name container like this. So these are the styles for the name container and the text. So let's use a text component and give this a style of text. And here I want to show the username. So this can be found on item.user.name. Let's save this. So there we can see the username. Also, this background color is coming from this content style. So you can just copy the content styles from here. So next we want to add the creation date. So let's just copy this component and let's use the created add property from the item. So item dot created add. Let's save this. So I know this looks ugly, but we'll fix this in a second. But let's just change the color to text light color for this date. Okay, so now we want to format this date. So let's create a new created add property and we're gonna use moment library to format this date. So let's provide item dot created add and then the format function with this format. So let's use this created add property here. Let's save this. Now it looks good. Now I want to add a middle dot between the name and the date. So let's use text and then add this dot. So now it looks good. So next I want to add a delete icon on the right side. So let's add a touchable opacity. And inside this, we'll use our icon component and give this a name of delete. Then size will be 20 and for the color, we're gonna use the rose color from our theme. So let's close this and save this. And we will see the icon on the right because of flex direction as row and justify space between. So now I want to add a condition where this will only show if this property is true. So we're gonna use can delete property. And if this is true, only then we will show this delete icon and we'll pass this property from the parent component. So let's just receive it here. And by default, this will be false like this. So if I make it true, we can see the delete icon. So by default, let's just make it false. So now we're gonna show the comment text. So let's add a text component and give this a style of text. And I want to have the font weight as normal for this text. And inside this, let's use item dot text property and let's save this. So there we can see our two comments that we made earlier. And I just noticed that it's not displaying the user image properly because this is the same account and we can see the user has an image, but on the comments, it does not. So where did we use the avatar component? So yeah, here we need to specify the user. There was a spelling mistake. So now we can see the user image. Now let's just log out and log in with a different account because this user is making comments on his own post. So let's just log in with my account. Okay, so if we go into the post details, here we don't see the delete icon, and that's because by default this can delete property is false, and this will be true based on a condition from the parent component. So here let's pass this property. So this will be true when the current user ID equals to the comment dot user ID, means this user created this comment, or if the current user is the owner of this post, so user dot ID equals to the post dot user ID. In both cases, we will show this icon. So we don't see this icon now because we did not created these comments or this post. But if we create a new comment on this post, this will show the delete icon for us. So let's create a test comment. So the comment is created, but it does not show automatically, which we will handle later. So for now, let's just refresh the app and check the latest comment. And there we can see the delete icon because we created this comment and we can delete this comment. Now, when we click on this, this should show an alert to the user if he wants to delete this comment or not. So for that, let's create a function inside the comment item and let's call it handle delete. So this will use an alert, and using the alert we want to show the title as confirm, and for the options let's just use the same alert that we used in the profile for logging out. So let's just copy this and paste this here. So title will be confirm, and for the message I want to say, are you sure you want to do this? And let's just leave the cancel as it is, and for the logout it will say delete. And when we click on this, this will trigger an on delete function where I want to pass the comment item as well. and this will be received from the parent component. So let's receive it here, and by default this will be an empty function like this. So let's save this, and now we can use this handle delete function on this touchable opacity. So when we click on this, this will show an alert. So let's save this, and now if we click on this, we see the alert. So now we need to implement this on delete function in the parent component. So let's pass the on delete function to this component. And now let's create this on delete comment function here. This will be an async function which will receive the item as the comment. And for now, let's just console log the comment that we are deleting. Let's save this and see if this is working. So just open the terminal, and if we click on delete, here we see deleting this comment. So now we need to work on the API that would delete this comment from the Supabase. So let's go into our post service. And here let's just copy this remove post like function and paste this here, and let's change the name to remove comment, and this will receive the comment ID. And we're gonna remove a row from the comments table. Then we need only one condition, so let's just remove this function, and this will check if the ID is equal to the comment ID like this. So let's change this to remove comment error, and the message will say could not remove the comment like this. And once the comment is deleted, this will give us a success as true, but we also want the comment ID back, so let's return the data as comment ID. So let's save this, and now we can use this here. So let's get the result from this API remove comment, and we need to pass the comment ID, so comment.id. And once this API is completed, we will check if the result.success is true. That means the comment is created or deleted. And if it's not, then we will alert the user with a message from our response. So result.message like this. So if the comment is deleted, we need to update the post. So let's use set post, and this will give us the previous post in the callback. And we need to update this, so let's create this updated post here. Let's spread all the previous post data, and then we need to update the post comments list, and let's just filter out the comment that is deleted. So let's use the filter function on this, and we need to keep all the comments where the ID is not equal to the comment ID that was deleted like this. And then we need to return this updated post, and this will hopefully update the comment list as well. Now let's see if this is working. So let me just refresh the app, and let's open the post details, and let's just delete this first test comment and hit delete. So there we can see the comment is gone, and it also updated the comments count because this was also coming from the post data. So in the console, you can see deleting this comment, and this comment is gone. Now let me just refresh the app and see if the comment is actually gone. So there you can see the count is 2, and the comment is gone from the database. So there is one more issue with the comment list. So now if I create a new comment and hit send, you'll see the comment is created, but it does not update the comment list. And for that, I'm going to use the real-time updates from Supabase, which we used for the new post. So let's go into the home, and let's just copy the same logic. We're going to make some changes to this, but most of this will be the same. So let's just copy this and move this to post details. Here we already have a use effect hook, so let's just copy this get post details function and paste it here. Now we don't need this use effect hook. Okay, so now let's change the name to comment channel, and the channel will say comments. And for the events, we only want to listen for the insert events whenever a new comment is created. Then schema will be public, and for the table, let's use comments table. And let me just format this. So this will listen to the inserts for all the comments, but I only want to listen for the comments on this specific post ID. And for that, we can use this filter property. So let me just show you the documentation for this. Listen to updates. Now, listen to row level changes. Yes, this is what we need. So we can basically filter the events for a specific post ID using this method. So we're gonna use this filter with the post ID from this post details model. If we don't do this, this will fetch all the inserts for all the commits. So let's use the post ID equals to the EQ function and then the post ID value like this. Let's see the syntax. We need this dot as well. So let's use a dot after the EQ function. So this will receive all the comments for this specific post. So now let's import the Supabase client and let's save this. Let's create a new function as handle new comment. And this will receive the new comment payload. So let's create this function here. This will also be an async function because we are gonna use the user data for each comment as well. So we need to make it async to fetch the user data later. So let's open the comment details. Okay, so inside this, let's just console log the payload first. Got new comment. And we get the new comment in the new property. So let's just console log this. And here, let's make a condition. If we have new data inside this payload, then it means a new comment is created. And for that, let's create a new comment property and spread all the data from a new property. Now let's fetch the user for this comment. So this will give us a response and we're gonna use the get user data function. And let's pass the user ID from this new comment. And we'll set the user property of the new comment if the success is true on this response. Then let's use result.data. Otherwise, this will be an empty object like this. So now we need to update this comment, and for that we need to call this set post function. This will give us the previous post, and we can just spread the data from the previous post, but we need to update the comments. So we need to show the comments on this new comment on the top. So let's use an array, but first object will be the new comment, and then we'll just spread all the previous comments like this. So now whenever we create a new comment, this will update the post and the comment list, and we will see it in the terminal as well. Now let's create a new comment as test2 and hit send. So there we can see it in the terminal, got a new comment, and this also updated the post and the comment list. So this is working fine. So now let's just delete this, and the comment is deleted. Let's delete this as well. Okay, so the delete is working and the new comment is working with the real-time updates. So let's go into our document, and for the post details model, we have completed all of these steps, but we will work on the remove and the edit post next. And these icons will be added to this post details model as well. But before that, I want to show you guys one more issue with the comments count, and you guys will fix this. So on the home screen, we see the comments count in each postcard. So if I open the post details and then create a new comment, let's create a test comment and then hit send. So we see the count is updated and we see the new comment. But if I go to previous screen, we don't see this count updated. So to fix this, you will need to listen for the comment inserts inside the home screen in this use effect. And whenever a new comment is created, you will need to loop through all the posts and then update the comment count. And this is very easy as I've just shown you guys how to implement this. So I will leave this up to you guys. You can play with this and add this feature. So this is it for this video, and in the next video we work on post, delete and edit features. So see you in the next one.